Hello and welcome back to Mr. Haas's math help videos. Okay, so today we're talking about lesson 17. It's kind of a combining and uncombining expressions. We're going to take a look at how we're going to be using the distributive property, putting it together, and then taking it apart, doing the reverse of the distributive property. So here's an example that I've got, a nice simple one. We have 5 times the sum of 4 plus m. Now we got that variable and a constant in there. So what you got to do is remember you're going to multiply the 5 times each of the terms. So we're going to have 5 times 4, which is 20. And then we also have 5 times m, which is 5m. And don't forget to put in that addition sign. You could do it if there's more terms in there. It doesn't matter. You just keep multiplying times everything that's inside there. And we would leave it just like this. That's done. That's good. So that is using the distributive property. I'll write that down. Distributive property. Sorry, that's a U. Okay. Distributive property. And that's how we distribute the 5 to the 4 and the m, to all the terms inside the parentheses. Okay, let's try it in reverse. So if we have the number 24 plus 6b, crazy b there, this is, we know, is 6 times 4, right? We can break down the factors there. Plus 6 times b. Well, we can take out a 6 from both of these terms. So we take the 6 out, and we're left with 4 plus b on the inside of the parentheses. Okay, so that's another way of doing it. So you've got to know that, this here breaks down to these two. Or if you want to look at it this way, you could go from 6 times 4 plus 6 times b. That becomes 24 plus 6b. Either way, forward, backward, combining, uncombining, works either way. Okay, so now let's try one with a couple of variables we're going to pull out. So let's say we've got 7m squared minus 21m. Okay, so right now I see I've got 7 and 21. Well, those have a common factor of 7 in them. So I know that I can take out the 7. But look at here. You can also take an m out of both of these terms. So I'm going to take m out as well. If you only took out the 7, then you left it kind of halfway done. So I'm going to take a 7m out of both terms. This is m times m. So, basically this is 7 times m times m. So we're just going to take this part of it away and leave m. And notice you can have a subtraction here, a negative sign in there. And here the factors I would have over here are 7 times m times 3, right? And I put the 3 over here just so that we can see that I can pull out that 7m as well. So there's that 7m goes back that way, and we're factoring it out. And then we're going to have the 3 left here. Okay, pretty easy, right? Okay, let's grab another piece of paper and move on. We can show you a couple of different ways that we can combine and uncombine expressions. So let's say we've got an expression of 5 times 4 in parentheses plus 5 times v. Okay, well this one's easy, right? We're going to be able to take the 5 out of both of these terms. So I'll put the 5 here, and left over inside the parentheses, I'm going to have the 4, and I'm going to have plus v. Easy, right? No problem. Now, let's try another one. Let's go reverse, okay? Backwards. I have a times 3 plus 5, right? Well, I'm going to use the distributive property, 3a, and remember, it doesn't matter whether you've got a3 or 3a, it's going to be the same thing. And then we've got a times 5, which is the same thing as 5a. And I could have said, all right, well, I could do this way. 3 times a and 5 times a. If you want to put the multiplication symbol in there. Okay, so that's how that one works. Let's try one like this. Let's try 2 times x in parentheses minus, so you can have a minus in between these two terms, 2 times 5. It works for most operations. This is going to give us a good, we're going to pull out 2 in this one. How about? So we have 2, and then the other factor that we've got inside here is the x. We have a minus between them, and we pulled a 2 out here. So then we have 5 there. And that's just a simple kind of reverse distributive property. That's what we're doing there. And let's try this one. R. And we have 4 plus r. Hey, look at that. We got 2 of the same variables. What's going to happen this time? Well, r times 4 is going to give us 4r. R times r is going to give us r squared. Pretty cool, huh? All right. Just a little bit more here in this one. So now let's give a look at this situation. What if we had m squared plus 4m plus 2m? Is that the same thing as 7m's? I've got 2 here and 4 here, that's 6. Well, here's another m, that's 7, right? Not so fast. We've got a square here. Well, that's m times m. Does that mean that I've got 2m there? So that's 7, my 6, and is it 8m? Well, actually, it's neither of them. It's neither. You cannot add, when you've got an exponent, you can't add, even though they have the same base here, the m's, you can't just add them. This is to the first power. This is to the first power. You can add, you can combine those two together. So you really could get m squared plus 6m. Well, so let's prove that this doesn't equal 7m or 8m. All right, well, how can we do that? Let's put a number in for m. Let's try 1. So 1 squared plus 6 times 1. Well, this is going to be 1 plus 6. Well, that does equal 7. And if over here, if we put 1 in for there, well, that's going to be 7. Well, yeah, it works this time. But that might be one of those situations where one number works, but they don't always work. So let's try a different number, okay? Let's put in a 2 and see how that works into this. So 2 squared plus 6 times 2, that's going to be 4 here, right? And this is going to be 12. Well, that equals 16. If I put in 7 times 2, well, that equals 14. Well, maybe it works for 8m. Maybe it was 8m. That's how what? Well, let's go one step further and keep trying. Let's try 3 squared. We're going to put in 3 for m. And here's 6 times 3. Well, 3 squared is 9, right? 3 times 3 is 9. Plus 6 times 3 is 18. Well, that equals 27. Back here, if I put in 7 times 3, well, that's only going to give me 21. So that doesn't work. How about 8 times 3? Well, that equals 24. So that doesn't work. So you see, you really can't combine them and add them up. It just doesn't work. It isn't true. So what we really have in this situation is right here. M squared plus 6m. It does not equal 7m. Does not equal 8m. Cannot add, even though you have the same base, you cannot add them together. They are separate kind of terms. Okay? Just as if you had a different letter. But it's because you've got that exponent. All right, well, thanks for stopping in and watching. See you in class.